Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second Sustainable Espresso, which is a short 15-minute shot of sustainability-related information that will occur bi-weekly. The purpose is to provide you with key information about sustainability facts and related topic, and of course, bring you more awareness of ESG each time. Today, we will dive a bit into the EU Taxonomy, which was introduced by EU Commission. And we will check what is it, how it's structured, where and when we need to use it. So Maja, can you please share with us the definition of EU Taxonomy?
Yes. Hi, Robert. The EU Taxonomy is a classification system that tells us whether specific economic activities are sustainable or not. It provides criteria and guidelines to determine whether an activity contributes to environmental goals, particularly goals related to climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation, sustainable use of resources, and biodiversity conservation. It will be mandatory for large companies. It's actually quite similar to the CSRD directive.
Okay, I see. But why is it important for enterprises?
It is important for enterprises, but we shouldn't forget that it's important also for investors, financial institutions, and policymakers, because it helps identify and support sustainable investments and economic activities aligned with the environmental goals in the European Union. It also promotes transparency, consistency, and trust in green finance market by providing this framework for assessing and disclosing the sustainability of investments. By establishing clear criteria and standards, the EU taxonomy helps investors make informed decisions, direct capital flows toward these sustainable projects or more sustainable projects, and contribute to the transition to a more sustainable and resilient economy in the whole European Union.
Okay, it's clearly very important for many parties, but who needs to report under this EU taxonomy?
Under the EU taxonomy, certain financial market participants and large companies are required to report. When we talk about financial markets, we mean participants such as investment firms, pension funds, and credit institutions that provide some specific financial products or services within the European Union. On the other hand, when we talk about large companies, we are considering companies of significant size who were already under this non-financial reporting directive, NFRD, which is now transformed into CSRD directive. And this is a directive that we talked about last week on the Sustainability Espresso. So the companies are actually required to report on the environmental sustainability and their activities under CSRD, and also about EU taxonomy. And these companies typically have over 250 employees and met specific financial thresholds. These companies must also disclose information on how and what extent their activities aligned with EU taxonomy criteria. The reporting obligations help to increase transparency and enable investors and stakeholders to assess the environmental impact of investments and business activities in general.
Okay, this all sounds great, but it is still probably a bit ambiguous for someone who hears of it for the first time. Can you maybe showcase an example of its structure and explain a bit more about it?
Yes, of course. We will explain it more on the slide. So maybe just a second, and we could see the slide. Okay, thank you. On the slide, we can see this example of this company that has 3 revenue streams. First one is coal power energy, and is actually excluded from taxonomy because of the coal itself. It's not aligned with taxonomy. This revenue stream represents 25% of the whole turnover of this company. And this is actually important. The second revenue stream is hydropower, where the taxonomy prescribes mandatory condition, some specific threshold. If the company has not given this information or not fulfilled this requirement, this criteria, which is called substantial contribution, has not been met. And the third revenue stream for this company is energy from wind power. This third stream represents 50% of the whole turnover of this company. If we look at the taxonomy documentation, you can find this documentation on the internet. We can see that this stream makes a substantial contribution to at least one of the 6 environmental goals. We can see these goals on the cloud in the slide. Because of this, we can go to next criteria. So in the first criteria, we have like a check mark, and then we can go to the next one. The next one is do no significant harm. In the taxonomy's official documents that we already mentioned, we can find the mandatory requirements to say if this is aligned of do no significant harm or not. And if the company does no significant harm to other 5 environmental goals, then we can say that this specific activity, is aligned with taxonomy. And the third criteria is minimum safeguards. This information is usually reported by the company. If not, the investor must conduct due diligence for minimum safeguards, and activities should not violate human rights, labor rights, bribery, extortion, etc. If also this criteria is met, like in this case that we are looking at, we can say that activity is totally taxonomy aligned. As we said before, these percentages represent how much of the whole turnover of the company specific activity represents. And we need this information so we can tell how much of the whole taxonomy is aligned. In our case, where wind power energy generation is aligned with all these 3 criteria, we can say that this company has 50% of turnover aligned with taxonomy.
Okay, so a lot of information for today, but we try to make it a bit shorter. If you would like to hear more, you can contact us, or otherwise you can just follow us and join us the next time for our Sustainability Espresso. And for the next time, we will show you one of the solutions that our customers use to help themselves for ESG data consolidation, monitoring, analytics, and finally also reporting. And that solution is called Microsoft Sustainability Manager. So yeah, if you're interested in learning a bit more about this solution, check with us the next time in 2 weeks. And thank you for joining us.